introduce myself here. I'm James Bobo. Just a little brief summary about me. Also, my director of operations, Skylar Wells. I thought he was calling in. I'm not sure if he made it or not. And Mr. Alexander, you might be able to see if he's on the line or not.
Not yet.
Definitely. Okay.
And I mean, if you gave
Definitely want
him,
him to chat in because he's been with me close to day one, and we're like Batman and Robin, Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen. We don't go nowhere without each other. So, but just a little bit about myself. I'm married. I have me and my wife. We are actually celebrating our 30th wedding anniversary this July. We've been together for 36 years. We have 6 adult kids. As I was telling Mr. Alexander, we have 17 grandkids and one on the way in July. Ex-military. I work at BMW Manufacturing Company in Spartanburg, South Carolina. I'm in the maintenance, safety, engineering department. Basically, I work about 50 hours a week, 55 hours a week, depending on what projects are coming and going. And the reason why I'm giving y'all this information is that I have a business that's full-time. One of the most important things I should have started out with is that I'm a Christian. When I went to a job several years ago where I was off every weekend, my pastor said, I got you now. My background is in finances, so I'm the treasurer of the church and also a trustee. So I have a full plate. And we're not letting our full plate stop us from this opportunity. It all depends on what you truly want out of life, whether you'll make the time for it and make the sacrifice for it. And we want to make sure that people that work with us, that you're not spinning your wheel, that you're not sitting there just doing something that's not efficient work where you spend time away from your family. And this is an opportunity that can help you with a lot of things that you're looking for in life. And if there's a question as I'm going through this presentation, if you have it, Ms. Alexander, she said raise your hand, stop, ask, because usually I keep my presentations open right now for small. We go to our international presentations next week, then of course we're going to have to change a little bit. But definitely right now, if anybody has any questions, comments, or anything, I want to make sure that we answer those to make sure that we're on the same page.
well, Skylar is on and unmuted.
Skylar, Mr. Wells, you want to quickly introduce yourself here, sir? I don't know if you heard me, but when I mentioned to him, I said we're Batman, Robin, Jordan, Piston. So I'm Jordan and I'm Batman. So I'm gonna let you be this other half.
Brother, I thought we were Batman and Batman, but that's cool.
All right.
Yeah, I'm Skylar Wells. I'm here in Columbia, South Carolina. I'm the Director of Operations for Team Phoenix. And James and I, we've been, and I apologize. When I thought it was a go-to meeting, I hadn't done that here recently, especially on this computer, so I should have known it'd take me some time. But I am here now. But James and I, we've known each other for several years, quite a few years. And when a mutual friend introduced us and said that James, he had a program, he had a vision of multiple streams of residual income. And I didn't even know him. I'm like, brother, I'm in. And we've been on this journey, and this is it. This is it. And we're trying to bring everyone that we know and have known here. And of course, those people have people that we don't know. And so this is going to be one of the greatest opportunities that a lot of us have seen. And we're starting at the ground floor, and that's what we've always wanted. So it's a pleasure to meet everyone, and I'm glad that you're here.
Now, one of the things that I'm going to do is I'm going to go through the presentation, and I want to go through a brief training to kind of, since I have y'all here, and I'm not going to be long. I'm going to go through the presentation kind of quickly because that's kind of nuts and bolts and foundation. I really want to get to the training so you can really see the opportunity that you really have at hand. And even beyond that, as I was talking to Ms. Alexander earlier, that first level, there's a couple more levels that me, her, and Scott were talking about that it's kind of like when I have grandkids. I can't take my 12-year-old grandson and teach him calculus 4 right now. He'll look at me like I'm crazy. I got to start him out with basic algebra and then take him to trig and then pre-calculus. I got to step him up. I just can't dump calculus in his lap day one. And so we're gonna work with y'all with this. Alexander from here is already doing a great job. But to get started here, Team Phoenix Transformation LLC is free to join as a business portfolio, and our motto is we show people how to make multiple streams of multiple paychecks of residual income out of profit and not out of pocket. We basically show you out of the first opportunity how to take some of those funds and get involved in the other businesses out of your profit, so you're not going back out of your pocket. And so one of the things I like to get cleared up here, one, is that this presentation is not a training session. It's an overview. And at the end of this overview, our goal is that you see what it takes to start, and you see the potential income that you can make, and you say, that's what I need for me and my family. Okay? One of the other things I like to point out here is that, you know, when people get hired on a job, they basically get hired and they do what they call on-the-job training. I don't care if you've been an engineering company, or like I've been in maintenance engineering for 30 years at BMW. If I go to Volvo, Mercedes, or another company, I'm going to have to learn their process. I'm not going to know everything 100% day one out the gate. And so, but nobody goes into a job and say, don't pay me until I know everything. They say, no. I can earn and learn at the same time. I'm knowledgeable enough. Well, why do people, and this is a rhetorical question, why do people want to turn around and say when they go into a business, they want to know everything before they start? It's the same process on the job. It should be the same process on the business. Earn and learn at the same time. So don't expect that you're going to know everything before you put your name online. You do need to trust the person that invited you there, period, and then move forward from that point. So with that said, we will continue here. One of the things that we look at when we talk about Team Phoenix, this is something for every walk of life. I don't care whether you're black, white, pink, purple, whether you're 25, 18, or 55 and seasoned. And we don't have any old people. There's nobody but Methuselah on this call, okay? So this is for everybody. And I don't care who you are. Every majority of people, I won't say everybody, majority of people have a why or something that they need. And please forgive me. For the last 3 or 4 weeks, I've been talking so much, my voice has been going in and out, so bear with me, everybody. But the one thing about it, the majority of people have a why or something that they need. And a sample of some of those whys is that we like to make extra funds to help family members out, to retire early. Skylar, he's retired military life to play golf, and golf is not a cheap hobby. You know, health care insurance. I don't know anybody that don't need a good health care plan. Or you like to donate to charity, or have who wouldn't want to be debt free, or leave a legacy to your kids or grandkids, or have a trust fund, or set up a nonprofit. And this is just a sample of some of the whys. This is nowhere near a complete list. And we show these here because this is the most hits that most people mention when we talk to them. But the one thing about it is that Team Phoenix does not want to be teach you how to be professional at what we're doing. We're simply looking to be a financial train to help you get you where you're going to. Okay. Now, the one thing about Team Phoenix, we're similar to a 401k. Now, as an example, years ago before a 401k came into existence, people used to invest in the stock of a company, and if the stock was a success, bam, they retired very wealthy or enough that they could live comfortably. If it was a failure, and I have a close friend that his mother, they bought out her company a year before they retired. She's been working it 28, 29 years, and she didn't get anything. Okay, so now she's having to depend on family members in her retirement, and that was at 64, and she is in her late 80s or early 90s now. So can you imagine working all your life, and then all of a sudden, somewhere high up in management, they buy the company, and you no longer have anything for it. So here comes along a 401k, and a 401k is made up of multiple businesses for diversity. And the reason for that is basically if anything happened in any one business, you don't lose everything. You have other streams of income inside that 401k to help you towards your retirement. And each one of these businesses have a product and service that they have because that's the nature of their business. But the majority of people that look at their 401k, they're looking at the profit side of it. They're not worried about the product and services that those businesses are producing. They're worried about, am I making enough for retirement? Where Team Phoenix has a similar philosophy. Our goal is to make enough money for the things that we want to do. We get involved in multiple businesses so that we can have an opportunity to do the things that we want to do. Every business that we get involved in has a product or a service. But whether you use that product or service or not is your choice. To give you a good example, there's a cable company that I won't name it by off name, but they have a commercial on TV. They say refer a friend and and you get $10 off your bill and they get $10 off their bill. But let's say Skylar refers me and I get $10 off my bill and the base bill is $100. And Skylar, he has grandkids and kids, and let's say that they binge watch all the month of May on TV, 24 hours, 7 days a week. And I got sent to Germany and my TV was off. I'm not going to disconnect my household bills or the lights and TV and everything for 1 month because it costs more money. So my TV is sitting there not being used. When I get back, guess what? I still have my basic bill. I was paying to have access to the service, okay? Where we work at, and this is an example here, this is a fictitious chart here with name of businesses. In the membership side, we get compensated off the membership side, not the services. There are some companies we work with that you can sell the product and service for an extra paycheck, but that's like the nickel over here compared to over here is $10. We want to work with $10. Now, if you have some product and service that you just gung-ho about, I got a good friend that actually introduced me and Skylar. He is crazy about internet products and services. He may dig into that because that's his passion. That's fine. I got another friend in Anderson, South Carolina. He's a workout fanatic. He may dig into the health products because that's him. But over here, this is not where your money is going to be made at. Your money is going to be made off the membership, and which are your customers, and building that. And basically, we get involved, as I mentioned, in multiple businesses. So if something happened to one, we still have other multiple streams coming in to where we don't have to go out and start over again. Now, the one thing about it, any business needs customers, and those of us that's Anonymous Alexander that knows how to do marketing, that have to rely on our warm marketing. We rely on our warm marketing for family members, co-workers, neighbors, church members. And the one thing about it, I don't care how big your warm market is, sooner or later, your warm market is going to be gone. And that's where if you don't have the skills like Ms. Alexander and some other people to where you know how to do advertising, you no longer can keep your income up. And that's where, and think about this, how many times you know people that were selling you something 1 year, and then a couple of years later they come back with a different product, and then 2-3 years later they come back with something else. The only thing that happened with them is that the first product they ran out of people to go to, they didn't know how to advertise to create new customers, so they went and they got this chrome with what they were doing, so they found another good product that they could sell, and being the family member or friend, you're like, well, I can use that, I'll help you out with that. But every couple of years, they're coming back to you with something else. We're going to break that into the cycle here. We found that we didn't create it, it's out there. We found a system to help you create numerous of customers on a regular basis as long as you're doing your part helping your team. Okay, and it's called the 2-up reverse. Now, the way this 2-up reverse, and this is just a small example, is that you recruit 3 people in this example, Adam, Bob, and Charlie. And your first 2 people, Adam and Bob, roll up to your sponsor, and they're going to follow him or her in anything that they're doing from this point forward. Charlie stays direct to you, and from that point on, anybody stays direct to you that you recruit on a normal basis. Now, the one thing about it, even though Adam and Bob roll up to your sponsor, it is still your responsibility to help them move forward just like you helped Charlie. Now, the one thing about it, because you have a direct relationship with them and you brought them in, the sponsor that they roll up to them may or may not know them, depending on what level they're at. Now, let's look at Charlie, how his recruiting works, but this works the same with everybody that comes in. Now, Charlie turns around here, and he brings in his first 3 people. His first 2 people are going to roll up to you. And these are customers that we call team members. These first 2 people here, basically, now you have 3 on your team. These first 2 people are going to go out and duplicate the process, and their first 2 people, which is 4, are going to roll up to you. Now you have 4 new customers. Now you have 7 on your team. And as you can see, that process continues, 15, 31, 63. Now giving up 2 people don't seem so bad. Nothing's 100% positive, but you got to be able to show where the good outweighs the negative portion of it, okay? And when you start looking at your direct with your help building your team and supporting them, that it can go deep, and you only had to recruit 3 people in this example, and you passed it up 2, which are still helping, because if you were down here and passed and you received 2 people down here, that sponsor up here is not going to have a clue who these people are. So this is how, by everybody working together and help your team build teams, you can have your customers build on a regular basis with only a handful of people. And guess what? When you bring on the fourth person, the numbers double. This list just increases. A fifth person, you get a whole other set of these numbers. So, and the thing that I tell people, don't feel so wide that you can't help people. I remember years ago having a sponsor that every time he picked up the phone, what do you need, what do you need, what do you need? And he wouldn't give you a second to talk. If you can't talk to the sponsor that brought you in and get assistance, you need to back up how many people. The realm of responsibility usually is anywhere between 4 to 7 people as far as managing a group. So when you're looking at this here, keep your group to 4 to 7 people, get them where they need to be at, and if you want to have a bigger team, go get another 4 to 7. Because it's hard to manage that many people, especially if you have a full-time job or in school or a combination of both and or a family along with that. Now the one thing about this is that, excuse me one second. Now the one thing about that, a question that comes up here is that with all these people that are coming in, they say, well, how are they going to know how to go into my different businesses? Well, Team Phoenix not only has the 2-Up Reverse program, which is a program that's free, and the website is free. We have a system that's called Program List Page. And on this Program List Page, once you join the platform or business, you basically put your link inside the space that's provided, and it updates the web link. And so anybody that signs up to you directly after the third person, when they click on their link in their back office, they automatically go to your website. So you get financial credit. Any roll-ups that you get automatically go to your website, so you get financial credit. So all that is automated. You don't have to worry about passing out your link to whether we got 2 businesses, 5 businesses, or 20 businesses. It's all automated, and that's great. Those are 2 of the greatest features that Team Phoenix has. It's not all of them. Okay. So the first opportunity that we get involved with. Before I go any further, are there any questions about any of this? Do you see any hands, Mr. Alexander?
There are no hands right now, but if you have a question, put your hand up now, and I will unmute you. Nope. You were very clear, so let's keep going.
So basically, our first platform to get started out with, the one thing that me and Skylar looked at doing is we wanted to get a business, an opportunity that anybody can get into. Not the rich, not somebody that has money. Another little quick story, I was getting involved in a little business group several years ago, and I was on a conference call, and one of the guys made a comment. He said, well, if they can't afford to do it, they don't deserve it. And I got very irritated. I spoke my mind. I'm ex-military. I'm a Christian, and I had to stop myself from going back to that Christian military way, because I was like, look, I'm not even dealing with you guys. And I explained to him why. Because somebody in a position where they can't afford something at the time because of their financial responsibility don't mean they don't deserve it. And so my relationship with that group ended that night. Okay. So the thing is that we wanted something that could be for everybody, not somebody who just has money, not somebody that's arrogant or whatever, for everybody. Okay. So the one thing about it is that CrowdRising basically was the first opportunity that we found that was low enough that a lot of people could get involved. Or if I've got a cousin, a brother, sister, good friend that wanted to move forward, and they say, I just don't have it, and I earnestly knew that they were going to work, and I knew that they just didn't have it, I could support it. Okay, it's not like it's $500 or $5,000. Okay, so at this point here, CrowdRising is basically a crowdfunding platform, and many of you probably heard of GoFundMe or Indiegogo. And to give an example of how this works, let's say the automobile industry has many different car manufacturers. You got BMW, Volvo, Mercedes, Ford, Chevrolet. But crowdfunding is a platform, and up under crowdfunding, you have GoFundMe, you have Indiegogo and CrowdRising, and several hundred others. These are just some of the major ones. Now, the one thing about it as well is that when we look at GoFundMe, you can have as many accounts as you want, and just like GoFundMe, people get their account and they advertise it. Well, the people that they advertise it to is their warm market. And what they don't tell you is that many people that have a GoFundMe account don't reach their financial goals because, once again, they don't know how to advertise and pass it out to other people. Okay? So the one thing about it is that basically Um, when we turn around and we look, CrowdRising has a 3 by 10 structure. And this 3 by 10 structure, a lot of people look at it and they say, well, is that a pyramid? And I'm going to stop here and review this because I like things that I know that people are going to hit hard with to discourage them. I want to make sure I give them ammunition to fight back. When we started talking about pyramid real quick, like I mentioned, I work out at BMW. I've been out there for 23 years, and I've seen it grow from 500 people to 15,000 people, 1 million to 11 million square feet. Now, the one thing about it is that right now there's about 12,000 people that work 24 hours, 7 days a week on the floor. Probably has 1,000 direct supervisors, 500 managers, probably about 50 assistant department managers, 10 managers, 10 department managers, 5 VPs, and 1 president. Now, a lot of people would say that's a business structure, but if you think about it, it surely sounds like a pyramid. So it depends on your mindset. The one thing about a 3 by 10 matrix or any matrix, period, it is designed that based upon your work of what you do, you can move forward regardless of who came in before you or after you. It's based upon the work that you do. Okay? So when we look at a 3 by 10 matrix here, this here in CrowdRising has what we call tiers 1 through 10. And tier 1, you can only have 3 people direct to you, period. And the second tier, these 3 people are going to bring 3 in, and they're going to have 9 on tier 2. Now, and as you can see, as it continues, it goes 27, 81, etc. Well, the one thing about it is that, let's say, for example, that, person 1, like Miss Alexander, she brings in 10 people. Well, even if she brings in 10 people, she still can only physically have 3 people direct to her on tier 1. The rest of them going to spill over to the next available position on tier 2. Okay? And that's called spillover. Now, I have mixed feelings about this. It's good and bad depending on how you use it. There are people that in previous organizations and even this platform here that signed up and say, I'm going to wait till I get spillover. And basically, what that's saying is that I'm going to sign up and wait for somebody else to do the work, to put people up under my position so that I can get paid. Now, I'm ex-military old school, and somebody that's saying I'm straightforward, I'm holding my hand out for a double check because I want somebody else to do the work for me. It's fine if you get it because it just happened, but for you to sign up just to wait for it, that's different. There's a way that we're going to show you how, which we're going to go into it very briefly, how to have multiple accounts, and you can do that the correct way. Now, the one thing about it is we look at this 3 by 10, which is basically when you look at tier 1 through tier 10 and 3, 9, 27, which we've been over already, and the donation amount per level, you can see the potential donation amount where 3 people can potentially donate $20 to you, will give you 60 potential dollars. 9 people on tier 2 will potentially give you 360, but for you to go from tier 1 to tier 2, you have to donate to the next level first, okay, out of what you received already. So once again, they're using the same philosophy that Team Phoenix has already been using for years, out of profit and not out of pocket, but in their case, out of donations and not out of pocket. All right. So the one thing about it also, imagine this here. Imagine if you had multiple platforms like this that you were getting paid on. And that's one of the things that we're going to go into in a few minutes. So one of the things that we look at is that right now, Team Phoenix purchased CrowdRising on March 22nd, and we actually relaunched on the anniversary date, which is March 2nd, a couple of days behind the date that we expected to. And the one thing about it, in 2 years, CrowdRising had 305,000 people that signed up. There were so many people doing different things. We tightened up the terms and conditions. We went to one payment process because people didn't kind of know how to pay other people, and people accounts were going delayed and everything. So we said, let's clean some things up that we see are issues. So that's basically what the terms and conditions are meant to do, is to keep the community moving smoothly, keep the donations flowing smoothly. And the one thing about it, since we just purchased CrowdRising, they're not interlinked together. So you may have down the road, as you have an additional account, you may have somebody sign up to that account straight from the internet. You want to make sure before you approve that donation that they signed up for Team Phoenix first, which is in the due terms and conditions for CrowdRising. And the one reason why you want to do that, because if you don't, you're doing a disservice to yourself and to the person. Because one, if they're not inside of Team Phoenix, you're giving up the roll-up that you would normally receive. And the person that's just working CrowdRising platform, they don't know anything about the additional business they can get involved in out of profit and not pocket. So you're doing a disservice to everybody. So definitely make sure you, because when they sign up, you're going to have their communication information, whether it's telephone, email, or a combination of both. So you want to follow through with that. Before I go in, that's pretty much the presentation. And the one thing that I mentioned to a lot of people here is that at this point right here, the one thing that we have to think about is that we're in the, how many times have we made the comment, I wish I could have gotten to that business or that group when they started out when they was on the ground floor. But guess what, ladies and gentlemen? We're not on the ground floor. We're in the basement working our way up to the ground floor. You're here. And the one thing about it, I tell every meeting that I'm going to right now, whether it's physically over the internet, if I got a brother, sister, cousin, or best friend, can you imagine several months down the road or a month or two down the road, I'm making a few $100s and it's increasing exponentially? And they said, well, how did that happen? And I said, oh, I joined such and such. Well, why you didn't tell me about it? I didn't think you want to know anything about it. Oh, that's a fight. I'm mad. For my brother, sister, cousin, not to tell me about an opportunity where they can make that type of potential donation, oh, we got issues now. Okay? I don't care how long we know each other. So think about this. When you get to, if you work in this opportunity and you're making a good bit of income from several opportunities that we're involved with, who's going to be mad at you because you didn't say anything to them? See, the one thing when this all starts transpiring, I called everybody I knew. I went back to some people I hadn't talked to in years and say, look, I hadn't talked to you, but this is what's going on now. You're in a time-sensitive period that if you're going to do it, you need to step up to the plate or not. But the one thing at the end of the day, they won't say that I didn't reach out to them. Okay? So that's my challenge to each one of you is to reach out to your people and get back to Miss Alexander and give her that information so we can get them in before we start putting the rest of the way, because the one thing that we believe in is taking care of family first and loyalty and then pressing forward from there. Any questions before I continue?
Thank you, James. No, there are no questions and there are no hands up in the box right now.
And I'm going to be real brief on this. I know that was about 20 minutes. I think 23, trying to keep track of time. And this here is how to have multiple accounts, and we're sending it out. Excuse me one second. I tend to get a little excited because I haven't been involved with an opportunity like this. This here is how to have multiple accounts, and we show you how to be efficient at what you're doing. Because if you help people be efficient, they're not chasing themselves around trying to do some of the things just to kind of keep their head above water. And I'm not going to read this slide by slide, but basically, want to appreciate everybody for moving forward here. And we're going to show you how to have multiple accounts, being efficient at what we're doing. And Ms. Alexander, you give this presentation on, correct?
No, I haven't, but I will.
All right.
They can. I'll send out the PowerPoint.
And one of the things right now, both the presentations don't have voiceover, but in the next 2 to 3 weeks, because of how much we're having to do to get everything working together, we've been overwhelmed a little bit. We're definitely going to get voiceover, so that way you can kind of get some extra information that you probably wouldn't normally have versus just reading the slides. So, and I'm going to get to some of the important slides because I want to be worthy and cautious of y'all time here. But one of the things is that basically, when we look at the two up reverse, just kind of going off the presentation, and you looked at how Charlie here basically had Adam and Bob that rolled up, and you had Adam and Bob that rolled up, you had Charlie direct, and you start looking at his roll-ups 2, 4, 8, and you had 1, 3, 7, 15 customer/team members. Well, on the back office of Team Phoenix in the program list page, the one thing that you're able to do is actually able to change the program. You can get an additional account and put in your new CrowdRising ID, and you can have your roll-up go to that versus you having to go recruit people. So by helping your team build deep, you can actually use your roll-ups to create additional accounts. So as an example here, instead of just, like we said, using Miss Alexander's example, instead of just coming in here and saying, okay, here's my 3 people, Charlie, David, and Edward, and then her other people just become spillover. What we're doing, we're saying, okay, Miss Alexander, you're here, but we're going to get her another account here, okay? And now she can put 3 additional people here. This guy here, he's real happy because they helped fill the leg here. He's already down on this other level, okay? And so she can continue to do that as long as she has people that she's bringing in directly after her third person after, or her roll-ups. So imagine this. As you continue to do, and once again, you can just change your list on your program list page. And one way to keep up with this here is basically Gmail and Yahoo gives you the capability of adding a +1 or some symbol that your extra emails that you create will go back to your primary email. So what we decided to do is use the +1 to keep track. So as an example, when you have your second, Adam gets or let's say Miss Alexander has a second account and a third account. So her email that she may have used here was alexander@gmail.com. So the next would be alexander+2@gmail.com, alexander+3@gmail.com. And these +2, +3 can be used for the individual different accounts that you get through CrowdRising. And when they act as an independent email, and when any information goes to them, such as a different sign-up, a payment process, or something that came in, these emails go back to your main email, so you only have to check one email for no matter how many additional accounts that you have. Okay. So, and the one thing that me and Miss Alexander and Scott were talking about today, you simply get you a spreadsheet to keep track of what your username is that's affiliated with the email address and the links that you have in that. That's a simple process. And so, basically, one thing that there's a slide that's missing on here. I apologize. Here we go. The one thing I want you to think about, I'm kind of shorting this up for time here. The one thing I want you to think about when I talk to people, nobody I've talked to has one why or one thing that they're looking to raise money for. They have multiple different things that they're trying to raise money for. So why not have multiple accounts that's raising money for those different whys? And you can do it. But it requires you helping instead of you going wide, if your team builds deep. The building is in building deep. The more people you help get stable, the more diverse you are and the more stable your team is. Okay?
Okay.
And I'm going to end it there because that's pretty much a summation. Your team going deep and helping them out is what it's about here. And the one thing about it, I will say, when you come into Team Phoenix, it's called the Team Phoenix and not the iPhoenix. Your handful of 4 to 7 people that you get into your group, find out what the things are that they want. What are they looking for? I don't make too many promises, but I can almost promise you this. If you help your people achieve their whys, you're going to almost automatically get yours. You cannot get yours if you're not helping them. So if you help them, yours is going to come to you. Ms. Alexander, unless there's any questions, we're good.
Does anyone have any questions about what has transpired up to now? We are good. What I really
I apologize.
That's okay.
I'm sorry. I apologize. One of the quick things, 30 seconds and 1 minute or less. One thing I do want to mention is, and I do apologize for the other that. This here is the first opportunity inside of Team Phoenix. Once you go from here, we have other opportunities that people that in our group right now, that within 30 days you're going to be in a second and third paycheck, and it's a one-time fee of less than $25 to get into the second and third paycheck. Okay, all of our businesses are arranged by financial categories, so we can get people into them as quickly as possible to start those additional paychecks. Okay, now. So the one thing that I want you to think about, even though you have this here coming in, there's other checks from other companies that are going to be coming in. So this was just the start. And we're talking about what this brings to the table. There's some other businesses that make this look small.
Wow.
Now I'm going to be in it on that.
They make this look small? Okay, then they must be huge.
The third business?
Uh-huh.
Yes.
So, okay.
Can't wait to get to it.
All right.
With our group.
Well, any questions, raise your hand now, and we'll get to it. Okay, Mr. Cross. This is Rufus Cross. Go ahead, Rufus.
Yes, first of all, I'd like to say to Mr. Bobo, you're a military man, and Mr. Schuyler, and I like that because I'm ex-military myself. And
What branch, sir?
I was in the Army, sir.
Oh, man. Come on. I was Air Force. That's right. You was my brother. Yes, sir.
Well, I was Army, 3rd Army Division, 2nd Army Division. I was in telecom, I was in armor, I was in all that stuff. And I did 7 years, so that was enough for me. But I like what you gentlemen have put together. It sounds very good. It sounds well thought out. It sounds solid. And that's what people are looking for these days. I know myself in particular, and of course I work with Ms. Alexander there, and we look for solid things that are real, things that people can believe in, things that people get involved in. They know that it's going to be there, and it's very important, of course, the people behind it. There's a saying, when you go to a horse race, you're not going to bet on a horse. You want to find out who the jockeys are. You want to find out who the jockey is, and that's the one you want to bet on. And so from what I'm hearing from you this evening, you sound like a good jockey. And you sound like...
Thank you, sir.
Absolutely. I mean, something that people can really get behind and believe in and go for it. And so I really had just more of a comment than I did have a question. But I do have one question. Now, with the different businesses that you are bringing to the table, are you also open to any suggestion about any business that may be viable for the Team Phoenix company? I'm just curious about that.
Yes, sir. Actually, we look for businesses on a regular basis. Me and Skylar both have been doing businesses on a part-time basis for 25, 30 years. And so we have a lot of contacts out there that a lot of our friends and family will say, hey, look at this, look at this, look at this. And Skylar is Director of Operation and Research, and he digs into it, and we look at it, and we beat it up, and we figure it out. And a lot of times, if it looks good, we'll spend our money first to go test it out before we bring it to our group. Because if you carry a group from left field, it's hard to get that confidence back and get them back on the right path. So we do look at things, test it out, and evaluate it, and then we like to know who's been in it, who's getting paid that we actually know, not that, yeah, I heard Sam get paid over there. No, I want to know that my best friend Terry gets paid. I can call him up and say, hey, how did you do last month? Those are the things that we look at.
Right, that sounds good because, with the, what you're saying about multiple streams, multiple businesses and that kind of thing, that's very important because things do, we've been through situations, Ms. Alexander and I have been in situations where things blew up and, kind of left hole in the bag, and you don't have another source to engage with, then that creates a problem. And so that's a very important thing. But like I say, I was just curious about whether or not you were open to suggestion for any other, because I have multiple businesses that I'm doing already. I've been full time in this stuff since 2008. This is all I do. And so I'm already a proponent of multiple streams of income in that sense. And so I do have other things, and I don't mind sharing those things with you if you gentlemen are open to that. Just sharing it with you, and if that's good.
We'll get your number. We'll get your number from Mr. Alexander and give you a call, set up a time. Give us a couple of weeks to get all this settled, what we're doing right now, because we're kind of overwhelmed a little bit. But one thing that I do want to point out when we start talking about, a lot of people don't get the concept of having multiple streams. And I'm going to tell you quick, real two scenarios that I think that people can think about. about 3 months ago, and I might be on right on the track. Scholar can help me remember here, but we had a power company that went under. They were building a nuclear power plant for the state of South Carolina. They've been building it for 10 years, billions of dollars. People left on Friday and went home, and they came back to work on Monday, and they had the gate locked and said they were bankrupt and out of business. 6,500 people. I think that was in Jenkinsville, South Carolina. Okay, and then another one that comes to mind real quickly is Toys R Us. Whoever thought Toys R Us will go bankrupt?
I know, right?
So no matter how huge the corporation or the business is, and you think it's solid, there's no business that's invulnerable from going under. But when you have multiple streams coming in, yeah, you'll feel it if it goes under. But guess what? You're not completely out the race.
Absolutely.
And one other comment I want to make. I'm ex-military, just like you said here, and I'm serious when it comes to business, but I'll laugh, joke, and horse around because you don't have to stress out to make money. If you can't enjoy the journey, you need to find something else.
That is correct.
And then to that, like jumping out of an airplane. You can't do it safely and have fun doing it.
And that's why I was in the Air Force supporting from the ground.
I got you.
We sent them fly boys on the.
I know what you're saying. But thank you so much, sir, for your time, and I look forward to us doing some great things together. I certainly appreciate your time and what you put together. Thank you so much.
Not a problem, sir. Thank you for your comments.
All right. Does anybody else have a question? I see no more questions, so I think you did a great job of letting us know what this is all about. And I just wanted to make sure that everybody understands when he said that we are in the basement working our way up to the first floor.
Yes. Yes.
Thank you, Skylar. We're in the basement working our way up to the first floor. When we hit the first floor, we're gonna hit it running, aren't we?
No.
Or
Running's too slow.
oh, it's too slow. Okay, so
Yeah. There's a plane called the SR-71 that they retired about 1978, and it still holds the world speed record for man occupancy.
okay.
And it went about Mach 3.5, 2,100 miles per hour. We're gonna make that look slow.
All right, that's how we're gonna hit.
Get your neck brace, and if you're ready to do some things, change your life, move forward, change your family life. I've been in those meetings where people talk the talk, and you hear the trash. Well, we're backing it up. We are in control of the reins to back it up, and we're making it happen. One thing I'm going to share with you, guys, and one real quick, just like we mentioned here about having multiple accounts in CrowdRising. Well, Miss Alexander, she has a huge group, and you don't mind me telling this to you, Miss Alexander,
No, go ahead.
about your account? Okay. And basically, just because of what she brought to the table and what we're able to intermix with it, right out the gate, she's going to have like 22 to 24 accounts. So when we talk about 22, is my screen still showing us Alexander?
Yes, your screen is still showing.
Okay. So we talk about 22 to 24 accounts. We're talking about she's going to have 22 to 24 sets of donation like this coming into her pocket. But guess what? Just because she came to the table with a huge group, everybody has the same opportunity that she does. Because the only thing that you have to do is go back and build your team deep and build it from roll-ups. You don't have to have 20 people or 10 people or 15 people. Get the handful of people that you got, help them build deep, help them get stable, help them achieve their why by going deep, and you can get as many accounts as she has. And you can pass her by. Now, I will tell you a little quick 10-second, 30-second story. I had a young man actually one time before, he said, we looked at the opportunity, and he said, can I make as much as you can doing what you're doing? I said, well, yes, you can, and no, you can't. And he looked at me and said, I don't understand the answer. I said, well, technically, the opportunity is the same for everybody. So you have the ability that you can make as much as I can. But the reason why I said no, you can't, because you're not going to put the time, the effort, or the energy into it that I will. So no, you won't. So the only question is, y'all going to step up to what Miss Alexander is and put the time and the effort in that she's doing to get to where she's at.
Thank you. Oh, John. John has a question.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead, John.
Didn't really have a question. I had a comment, and I would like to comment and say Miss Alexander's been a great leader, and I complimented her for hooking up with Mr. Bobo and Mr. Wells, and I think we have a lot of work to do, and she's got a plan for that, and I'm willing to try to take a shot at it.
Cool. That's all we like is just to give us a chance to prove our worth, and we don't take that for granted. We take people's trust to heart, and we plan on, moving forward and going the extra mile to make sure that we earn that trust and keep it there.
Okay, I have another
That's
question. I have another question from Charlotte.
Miss
Go ahead.
Miss Alexander, let me pipe in here real quick.
Okay.
This is the last, over my years that I've been doing this, decades I should say, this is the last thing. And when I met James and he told me what he wanted to do, I knew this was the last thing. And I have done nothing else. And it has come to it. And everyone that joins us, this will be the last thing that you have to do. Because this is generational. That's what it is. And we can share this with our children and grandchildren. And this is lifetime. Life, more than that. So, I'm glad that everyone on the call here is being positive.
Thank you.
So I know you have one other person that's on the pipe in, but I'm kind of riding on Skylar back there.
Okay.
This training that we went over here, this is high school. We hadn't even touched college yet. There's several other layers of training and other opportunities past this here.
Right.
That we shared a few with Miss Alexander, and a couple we just haven't had a chance to talk because we too busy trying to put things together. So this is just the entry level opportunity. This is nowhere near the top level.
Let's just get ready for what was that plane? That plane ride? The fastest plane you
That's
just
SR-71, surveillance SR-71.
So let's get ready for that plane ride.
2,100 miles per hour.
Let's get ready for that plane ride.
California, 58 minutes.
And this is just the beginning. So for anybody who is questioning how many are a part of this right now, we are the beginning. Okay?
You said another young lady, Miss Charlotte, I believe.
Okay, Charlotte, did you have a question? Go ahead, Charlotte.
Know how many people are part of this now, and will there be any additional trainings like this that we can send potential members to?
I did catch the first part of what you were saying. It was kind of cut off. So you repeat that one more time?
How many are part of this now? Like, are there people enrolled now, and how many are a part of that? And the second question is, will this be regular training? Will you have regularly scheduled webinars for potential members to come to?
Okay. To answer your first question, we basically, when we purchased CrowdRising on March 22nd, we put a plan together, and CrowdRising had 305,000 people that signed up in 2 years. And just from knowing the previous owner, we knew that everybody was scattered, didn't know who was doing what, and so we said, or actually I made the judgment call, we're pruning the tree. We cleaned the database completely. We sent out multiple messages through email. We emailed the group. We sent Skype messages, Facebook, which is 20,000 strong. Every way that we had a way of sending out a message, we sent it out to people over 30, 35, 40-day period to say we're going to clean the database, start over, and you have to re-sign up with the new terms and condition and also the traffic wave, because the back office of CrowdRising had a problem with the emailer system, which we couldn't do mass email. So the traffic wave link allowed us to just capture your email address to be able to send messages out to the group. So right now we have messages from people around the world that we're replacing in the next 3 weeks. But before we start placing those people around the world, our core group that we've been working with, like Miss Alexander, myself, and Skylar, and several other groups that I'm working with, have a group in the Bahamas. We're getting everybody established first, and then we're placing the rest of the world behind us. And that's what we talk about loyalty, and it's a fact. Who you know in the right place and right time. And so that's where we at. We're in the process of rebuilding it right now, literally. Okay, and that's the reason why we say if you're going to get somebody in, you know, now and 2 weeks from now is going to be a big difference in really their income. Okay. The second part of the question.
There's one more person with questions.
The other part of your question is that we are going to have weekly webinars, and the one thing that I'm having a challenge dealing with, because I've had other businesses that I've had from coast to coast, and I usually do a 9 p.m. webinar to capture everybody the best way as possible. But now I'm dealing with people in 24 to 26 different countries, all over different time zones. So we're going to have a 9 p.m. webinar and a 3 p.m. webinar, which is going to catch people around the world in the time, and also a Saturday webinar. We're going to get those times fixed once we get everything set up in the next couple of weeks, and also training webinars that we'll have set. And we're going to have, right now, we also produce training material, because since we combined the platform and Team Phoenix, we're having to create new material to make sure everybody understands everything. So in the process of doing that, getting people together, it's been an overwhelming process here. But we're having fun.
Okay, we're gonna make this.
Question to Charlotte.
Charlotte, did I answer your question?
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. And now we have Mercy. All right, Mercy. Yourself. You have to unmute yourself, Mercy. There you go.
Hi, everybody.
Hello, Mercy.
How you doing, ma'am?
I'm fine. Okay, my name is Marcy. I'm so happy to be part of this move. This is amazing. My question is, if like I have my mom that he cannot do a lot, can I use my account? My Bitcoin account to help others?
Yes.
Okay. Well, can you repeat the question, Ms. Alexander?
Okay. She said. She is asking. Okay. Where are you from, Mercy?
Nigeria.
Mercy's from Nigeria. Is your mom in Nigeria now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. She wants to help her mom, so she wants to know if she could use her Bitcoin account to help her mom do this business. Do this crowdfunding.
Yes. And one thing I want to kind of jump in here as well. We have a clause in Team Phoenix not to sign up lame ducks, and we kind of stole that from our presidential race. You know, usually at the end of 2 years, if the election goes away from the current administration that's in and the opposite party get in, the last 2 years of that administration, pretty much they can't get anything through. Well, we want to make sure that people you invite to Team Phoenix and CrowdRising are people that can work the business. Me and Scholar used to say don't invite your grandma and grandpa, but we're there now. But you don't want to invite your great grandma just a name to put a spot in and say I filled it out. If they're not a person that's going to work the opportunity, their name don't need to be there, because you wouldn't want to have somebody roll up to you that you can't work with or they can't communicate to. Okay. Now, part of that, and ma'am, part of the training that has this as a little hint, we're going to show you that if you do have somebody that can't work this opportunity, we're going to show you down the road how you can help build a team for them through your roll-ups. Okay? So we've talked about that already. So this has unlimited potential how you can help other people that even can't do this here, because everybody can't do the same task. Different people have different strengths and weaknesses. Like, you know, I'm great at speaking with people to some extent. Skylar, he's more the research guy. He does some things I can't do. So we're a great tandem, you know, in that Batman and Batman style, okay? But you know, so we've got ways to help people the correct way, but we just don't want to put somebody in there that can't work the opportunity. And just like you, Ms. Singleton said, you can use your Bitcoin account for somebody else that doesn't have one, and y'all can get that settled later until that person gets theirs up and going. Or you can use yours and do it however you want to between you and that party.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Mercy.
You're welcome.
Okay. That seems to be the last question, and we've had some great information coming to us. Thank you, Skylar. Thank you, James. Just thank you for allowing us to join you in this.
y'all for joining us and helping us make this even better and bigger opportunity for everybody. And we appreciate your work ethic and your patience. And if there's anything that me or Skylar can help you out with, definitely contact us. And we're here to move forward. Warp speed, as Captain Kirk would say.
Yeah, that's warp. That's right. That's faster than that jet you were talking about.
Yeah, it is. We keep taking to another level. We're in college level now.
That's right. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. All right. Go ahead, Skylar.
Yeah, I was just saying, I was just thinking, I've got some people in my group, and they have a little problems with Bitcoin, and when they start their Bitcoin account, they funding it and stuff like that. We just, as you said, we're going to go warp speed. Everything needs to be in place. So when we call you, you need to understand what's going on. You need to move forward. And James and I, we spend a lot. I'm not a phone guy. I don't call a lot of people, but if you call me, I can help you. And we just need to be able, when I call somebody, well, I can't donate because I don't have any money in my funds, in my Bitcoin account. So I end up transferring a lot of money to other people. Let's just have things ready. So when you're called upon, because we're replacing people right now, when you're called upon, have things ready. And Miss Alexander, I know I'm preaching to the choir because you've talked to your people and they're ready and they probably have Bitcoin already. But these are some of the things that we come across.
Okay, and that's what we're going to be teaching our people and our new people and all the ones that are coming forward as they come. And we're just going to make sure we have things in place that they can learn how to do everything they need to learn so we can move at warp speed. Okay? I hope this is a quick question. We're going to have one more quick question from Shelly. Go ahead, Shelly. Oh, sorry, I didn't meet you. There you go, Shelly.
Sorry. My question is about the usernames. Everybody coming in, are they going to be assigned a username, and can it be changed, or is that permanent?
Right now, coming into Team Phoenix and CrowdRising, you'll be assigned a username that unfortunately will be permanent. And the reason being is because, as I mentioned earlier, we sent out communication to everybody saying this is what we're going to do. And people have sent their information in a timely manner saying, I want to be part of the restart, CrowdRising 2.0. And there were a lot of people who didn't think it was going to happen and thought, well, whatever, they just caused us some noise. And when we cleaned the database, I think it was April 26th, and everybody's accounts went away, then a lot of people started trying to sign up under the original account, which was only one. Okay? And as I go through, and I'm checking it several times a day, if I see a name that is not the assigned username code that we have given it, I will lock the account down where it can't have any transactions. So, and I'm doing that to protect those who have sent their information in, so that we don't have somebody slide in and take your place that's been positioned for you.
Exactly. And I thank you for that. And we thank you for that. All right. So, anything else you want to impart to us tonight?
I just want to say, I want to thank God for the opportunity that we've been given. Whether we have this opportunity or not, God is good every day, period. And I just say that just continue to put the work ethic that y'all been doing already. And people always say down the road, let's look at how 6 months, 9 months, a year down the road gonna go. I'm saying some milestones to look at it. If people just do what we said we're gonna do, let's look at 4th of July. I know that's 2 months away, but I say let's look and see what's gonna happen about that 4th of July.
Woo.
If you just do the things that Miss Alexander's talking about, and if you do the things that Miss Alexander's talking about and what we've been discussing, we don't even want to talk Christmas.
I know, right? Woo. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I am. Yes.
And I'm going and I'll tell you this: those people who said no, this is a scam, this is this. You know, I feel sorry for them because I'm not trying to be funny, but those people gonna be put on suicide watch. They're gonna be like, what did I do?
Yes.
How did I miss that opportunity?
Yes.
I missed the golden egg here.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's exactly right. And so I thank you very much for coming out and sharing this with us tonight. And of course, this is one of many, many more things that we're going to be doing together. So, whew, let's go. Let's get started. And I won't hold you guys unless you have some more great information to impart.
I'm good. I thank you for your time once again.
All right. Thank you so much. Okay, everybody. Have a great weekend. Stay blessed, and we will see you next week. Good night, everyone.
Good night.